When you begin to master your state and you start to lead your life, you can begin to transition from this reactive place of just reactivity, saying the first thing that comes to mind because you're hurt, and more into a place of regulation. Today, I want to give you some real tools to not only keep you anchored in presence, but how to do this consistently. But you have to start with understanding, how do you respond under pressure?
Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Today I'm here hoping to be able to interview Joey Wilder. He is the creator, inventor, founder, you name it.
We have Joey Wilder, first time coming on the show.
But at that moment, I had a choice to make. I either hit this while it's hot, while people are hyped up about it, or kind of let it simmer out. And I've been told by many great mentors that it's all about the timing of things.
Where in your life do your emotions run the show? You can't lead what you can't locate, and you can't command what you can't feel. Listen to that again. You can't lead what you can't locate, and you can't command what you can't or refuse to feel. So be honest with yourself. Which emotion hijacks your leadership most often? Is it anger, anxiety, shame, guilt, fear? Write that down somewhere. Now, in this next phase, I want to talk about the nervous system and really how a calm nervous system is a calm man. Your body is really just your leadership instrument, and most of us don't know how to play that instrument. If it's dysregulated, your message, your presence, and power are completely out the window. I'm going to break this down into 4 states, which you've probably heard before, but 2 that commonly get overlooked or not even mentioned. I'll start with the first one, which we all know, which is fight. This is when we're reactive, we're explosive, we're aggressive. This is usually when we're throwing the proverbial javelins because we become like metaphorical Braveheart. And it's like, it's our final stand. Stop. It's not. It's not the final conversation. And if it is, what does that tell you about the relationship? The next one is flight. This is when we're anxious, we're avoidant, we're scatterbrained. We just don't know what's going on. And then there's freeze. This is when you shut down, you just feel numb, and you're incredibly passive. It's like when you ask people like, hey, is everything okay? I don't know. How are you feeling? I don't know. And then there's fawn. This is when someone is over-agreeing, they're appeasing, they're acquiescing to every ask and demand, and you begin to lose self to keep the peace. Which state are you most likely to fall into under stress? I had a tendency in conditioning that I grew up with of being highly reactive. I learned that from my parents, from one of my parents. And from the other, I saw this calm, docile ability to conflict resolve. And when I was at a point where I was facing that, I didn't know what to do with it. And I took on the conditioning. And I'm so grateful for my dad for this, for being so patient and allowing correction instead of letting that slide. That did a lot for me, and I've never told him that. Being able to correct someone when you notice something like that, when it's your children, one of your friends, that is one of the best things you could do for someone. So shout out Dad for doing that. Because when you can recognize the state that you're most likely to drop into under stress, you can do what's called the regulator's reset. And the first thing you do is you name it. For me, I was in fight mode. So I would name, I am in fight mode. And step 2, you ground it. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Like, I'm being literal. Have you ever realized when you are feeling any of these things, when you finally take a breath, you're like, it's almost like you were like holding your breath the whole time. Maybe you feel it in your chest, feel it in your legs. I don't know where you feel it. But check in with yourself, whether it's taking a deep breath, anything you need to do, scan your body and be present with where you're at. Like, don't disassociate. And number 3 is you lead it. You make a decision from clarity, not in the moment reactivity. Like, you're never meant to make a decision when you are highly emotional or under the influence. Have you guys ever heard that? You never make a big decision when you are highly emotional, under the influence. I've got a third one, or after you have had sex and you're laying in bed next to each other. That's called pillow talk, my friends. Be wary of things that are said during pillow talk. I hope someone clips that and does something with it. When you step into the regulator's reset and you actually name the place that you're in, this allows you to locate the thing and make a conscious decision to change. Most of us are just letting ourselves react, and that's what children do. It's not what mature adults do. But I have something for all of you to do. If you're listening to this on recording or if you're watching this live, I want you to take a moment, 5 minutes, as you're being honest with yourself about which of these states that you drop into under stress. Where do you normally feel tension? Where do you feel tension? And what is the story you're telling yourself in that moment? Is it that this is the end? Is it, I'm in trouble again? When you can locate the thing, you can actually begin to change the behavior. Until then, you'll continue to fall into, which is our next section, which is called trigger awareness and emotional command. Now, triggers aren't the problem. It's those unconscious reactions. It's the, I didn't mean to say that. I didn't mean it, but you said it. Where'd it come from? And you guys all know what I'm talking about. Triggers are not the problem. The unconscious reactions are. Triggers are really just training grounds for leadership. And I know many people that will go through this healing phase, and I'm not here to knock healing, but they'll spend a lot of time like by themselves, alone. They won't really go out and do things. Guys, that's not healing. That's just self-isolation under the guise of healing. Because when you are finally in one of those instances that is normally a triggering moment, now I'm not saying go out there and like face all your triggers. Like, I'm going to go find the next, toxic blonde that I can find, fly to Idaho and have her family attack me. And true story. She called me the other day randomly. So wild. Yeah, dude, I thought the same thing. I had a missed call and I noticed the next day. I sent her a text. I said sorry in the text. I was like, hey, I take ownership for how things ended between us. I'm not proud of that. I hope you're well. I saw I had a missed call from you. Did you mean to call me? She was like, oh, thank you. No, I didn't mean to call you. I meant to call my other friend, Joe. Hope you're well. So I did my due diligence because on the inverse, had something actually happened, someone calling, things did not end terribly enough that I would not be there for someone that once meant something to me. That does not mean there's an open loop there. I'm not even friends on Facebook with this person. And that says a lot. Says a lot. But yeah, interesting experience. But I wouldn't have been able to do that had I not been aware of the triggers that were there, and had I been able to come from a place of groundedness. Because if I was just this reactive, chip on my shoulder type of man, like some of these other guys, it'd be like, oh, what's up? Are you in prison? Something like that. Like they want to stick it to him. It's like, bro. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's certain instances where you are valid in that. I have an experience with someone that I wouldn't even mention her name, but I wouldn't answer her call back or anything like that. I would call like my local like officials. But in this, there's this thing I want to talk about called the trigger loop. And there's 4 areas that most people don't even talk about. They know about the triggers, but not the actual nuances within it. There's the stimulus, which this is the thing that activates you. Maybe it's a tone, a delay, a look. Why are you giving me that look? Why'd you say it that way? Hello, are you listening? We've all been there. As tone and like someone on their phone, there's anything like that. The next thing is the story. Now, this is when you make meaning to the thing that you're experiencing. Oh, she doesn't respect me. She doesn't love me anymore. She's cheating on me because she's on her phone. She's starting an OnlyFans right now in this second, right now. She's going to the bathroom to take the photos and oh my God. I had a guy share that with me. I was like, wait, you believe that she's doing all this like right there in that moment? He was like, it's just like, I'm pretty sure it's happening because every time she goes to the bathroom. And I was like, maybe the Wi-Fi's better in the living room and she's downloading a YouTube video because she's going to like go number 2. Like that's literally where my mind went. Cause I don't care what women say. You guys go number 2 also. You can't lie and say you don't. Like I can prove it. There's some guys out there that are like, yeah, my wife says she doesn't poop. If that's not happening, you should probably go to the doctor because that's going to hurt later on. Yeah, Josh is on Foot Finder for sure. Only feet. But you make meaning to this story. You create them and then you make meaning to it and you use everything to validate it because it's really easy to spot a yellow car when you're looking for a yellow car. And that statement is not about cars. This next one is state. Your body reacts. Sometimes we feel heat, we feel tension, we just want to withdraw, we just want to run away, we disassociate. You hear like Charlie Brown. I said that to someone the other day and they were like, I don't know what that is. There's a generation of people out there that don't know what Charlie Brown is. Kids, go do your homework and respect your elders. Charlie Brown, but I was like, wah, 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 wah. You disassociate. And the final phase of this is strategy. You fight, you flee, you freeze, or you fawn. You strategize your way out of this. But I want you to see it this way. Triggers don't expose weakness. They reveal your next edge of what true leadership looks like. Because not going down that road or not listening to that song or not having that type of conversation just because it triggers you, it's not a weakness. It's an expansion to the next level of leadership that you get to step into. But I want to give you a tool to use. I want you to write down a recent trigger, something that triggered you. For me, it was while I was out in Joshua Tree, this lady tried to break my window of my car because the dogs were inside the car. Um, I have a Tesla. It was 61 degrees inside the car. And it was inside the car. But that triggered me because obviously I had to get out, I had to have a conversation, and they were blocking my car, and I was with a friend, and I may have said some things that were, she had 100 pounds on me, I'll say that. And she like lost her breath while she was walking down like this sidewalk. And I may have said something. I'm allowed to say that I used to be fat. I've got like the cosign from the fat community because I was the leader of it. But I want you to write down one recent trigger and what meaning you gave to it, how you reacted, and how you'll respond differently next time from a place of awareness. Now, this next phase, I want to talk about something called recentering. How many of you actually give yourself a moment to decompress, to recenter, to ground yourself, whatever word or dialogue you want to use? I want to make sure this doesn't go over people's heads because they hear a word that doesn't make sense. But what's the thing you use to bring yourself back? Because, you know, we can't be proverbial barbarian ready to destroy the world and Order 66 everything in our warpath. There's a rhyme, a reason, and a day for that. I understand. We all go to the gym because we have the belief we'll have to pick up a car off our kids one day. I get it. That's when I'm in the gym, I'm like, I may have to pick up a car one day. I need to get stronger. Anyone else play out things like that? What's the thing that brings you back? Because having a ritual, a routine, something to bring yourself back to yourself, being truly sovereign isn't about how well you avoid chaos. It's about how fast you return to center when it hits. I want you to think of this as a grounding stack. I want you to choose some type of practice, whether it's prayer, meditation, breath work, and pair that with an anchor routine, whether that's cold exposure, sunlight, red light therapy, laying on your back. Now, I want you to sandwich that with the recovery ritual, which could be journaling, walking, verbal gratitude reflection, something that allows you to feel grounded. It takes less than 5 minutes to do. This is your grounding stack. Pick and choose what works best for you. But I want to give you this prompt, something to put your mind in the right place as you're doing this. What do you usually do to numb? What do you usually do to numb? I had some bad habits in the past with numbing. And for a long time, they just synthesized into other things that were perceivably good things until they weren't. And I am radically transparent with these things in intimate settings, not settings that will go on recording. But be radically honest with yourself. What do you usually do to numb? And pair that with what will you now do to regulate? Your homework is to build your grounding stack. Whether it's one of these things or all of these things, for the next 5 days, I want you to do one of these things daily. Set a timer for 5 minutes. If you try to tell me that I don't have time and you don't have time for 5 minutes, I'm going to find 5 minutes of your day and kick you in the shin for 5 minutes straight, just to show you that you have 5 minutes. Like just in the shin, like not hard as a skateboard would hit it if it's rolling. just enough to like dent your shin over time. You guys know, or like a scooter. You ever had a scooter hit your shin? That shit hurts. Those razor scooters? No, nothing like that. What about a skip it? I'm kidding. I'm just naming like all the things. Oh, those were great. I want to close with this. You won't become your mission until you can master your state and have true autonomy over your emotions. I want you to imagine being the type of man who doesn't react, but a man who returns to himself, who comes from a place of being anchored in not only his mission, but being a place of groundedness, peace, and presence, while also being able to lead from a place of conviction and certainty. Because realistically, anytime we are losing our shit, we are overreacting, we are showing up in one of these places, it's because there's a level of uncertainty. Think about it. There's a lack of clarity. There's uncertainty. We're scared. We're unsure what to do. What do I do now? Why me? But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to say nothing in life is certain, but you cannot control everything. And if you feel like you can, my friend, that is a very tight rope that you are cascading on. It's like cascading a fine line between right and wrong, good and bad, hot and cold, wealthy, poor. But when you recognize that life does not move in the motions, that you will always be delivered provisions and prosperity, when you can recognize that you are not only the problem, but also the solution, you can stand at that intersection of humility and failure and recognize that either path you choose, you win. As long as you master your state and lead in the process, you won't always have certainty in everything. You won't. That's just not how life works. But when you become this man who responds with precision, clarity, and presence, you can come back, whether it's coming back to yourself, coming back home, and you can know that the storm that's happening outside is irrelevant as long as the ground inside you stays ready and grounded. And when others escalate, you can bring a level of presence. When life tightens, you take a deep breath. When the moment is loud, you learn to move in silence and lead. This is how you truly become the man that you've always dreamed of becoming. This is how you become truly sovereign. I appreciate you guys tuning in for today. Next week, we're going to expand on this, and we're going to go through how to anchor to your North Star and really how to begin defining your personal mission. I want you to take this away. If you took nothing else away, where in your life do you still respond from reactivity instead of being grounded? And what emotion hijacks your leadership most often? You can't lead what you can't locate, and you can't command what you can't feel and refuse to see. True healing begins when you choose to face that part of yourself that you struggle to accept and love. True peace comes on the other side of healing that chip on your shoulder and recognizing that at the end of it all, I believe that you will be more grateful for the things that you took chances on and the work that you did, and recognizing that there's always more on the other side, that there's no room for guilt, there's no room for shame, there's no room for fear, but there's always room for more. appreciate you guys being here, and I will see you on the next one.